They said Kang Tae-jun's face was cursed. Not actually cursed, but it might as well have been. The man had forgotten how to smile. 7 years working for him, and Mrs. Park, the head housekeeper, had seen him show emotion exactly 4 times. Twice at funerals. Once when a business deal fell through. Once when his mother mentioned his failed engagement. That was it. 4 moments in 7 years. His face stayed the same whether good things happened or bad things happened. Blank, empty, unreachable. Until the night he saw Neema dancing. She was the new girl. The one from Tanzania who hummed while she worked and decorated her tiny room with bright fabrics. The one who did not seem afraid of him, just cautious. That night, she thought everyone was asleep. She put in her earbuds, played music from home, and danced in the long marble corridor, like she was the only person in the world. But she was not alone. Tae-jun was watching, and for the first time in years his frozen face came back to life. Everyone in the Kang household knew one rule: never expect the chairman to smile. Not at breakfast, not at dinner. Not even on holidays when the whole family gathered and pretended everything was perfect. Kang Tae-jun simply did not smile. His face stayed the same whether he was signing a $1 billion contract or sitting through his mother's lectures about marriage. Empty. Blank. Like someone had forgotten to install emotions when they made him. The housekeepers whispered about it sometimes, how strange it was to work for someone who never showed joy. Mrs. Park, the head housekeeper, had been there for 7 years. 7 whole years, and she could count on one hand the number of times she had seen anything close to warmth on his face. Maybe he smiled when he was younger, she told the new cook once, before whatever happened, happened. But nobody really knew what that something was, and nobody dared to ask. Tae-jun moved through his mansion like a ghost every morning. Same routine, same blank expression. He would walk down the stairs at exactly 6:30, wearing a different suit but somehow looking exactly the same. His driver would be waiting. His assistant would have his coffee ready. His entire life ran like a machine, and machines do not smile. This particular morning was no different. Tae-jun came down the stairs while the staff scattered like birds. They had learned not to make eye contact, not to speak unless spoken to, not to exist too loudly in his presence. He left for work without a word. The house exhaled. And that is when Neema finally came out of the kitchen, holding a mop and shaking her head. "He is gone?" she asked Mrs. Park in her accented Korean. "Yes. You can clean the main hall now." Neema grinned. "Good. That man makes me nervous." Mrs. Park chuckled. "He makes everyone nervous. But why? He does not shout. He does not throw things. He just looks at you like you are furniture. That is just how he is. You will get used to it." Neema was not so sure about that. She had been working in the Kang household for 3 months now, and she still was not used to the coldness of the place. The house was huge, sure. Beautiful, yes. But it felt like living inside a museum. Everything was perfect and untouchable and sad. Back home in Tanzania, houses were loud, full of cousins and music and someone always burning something in the kitchen. Here, the silence pressed down on her like a heavy blanket. Still, she needed this job. Her younger siblings were counting on her. Her sister wanted to finish university. Her brother needed school fees. So Neema cleaned the floors and bit her tongue and sent money home every month. But she refused to let this place steal her joy. When no one was watching, she would hum. She would dance a little while sweeping. She would talk to herself in Swahili, just to hear something that sounded like home. Mrs. Park pretended not to notice. The other staff thought she was strange, but harmless. And Tae-jun, well, he never noticed her at all. At least, that is what Neema thought. That evening, Tae-jun came home earlier than usual. He had left a meeting halfway through because his head hurt and people were boring him. Everyone was always saying the same things, agreeing with him even when he was wrong, laughing at jokes that were not funny. He hated it. He hated all of it. The driver dropped him off, and he walked into his house the same way he always did, quiet, detached, already planning to skip dinner and just sleep. But then he heard something. Music. Very faint. Coming from somewhere deeper in the house. Tae-jun stopped walking. The staff knew better than to play music. His mother certainly was not here. So what was that sound? He followed it, down the main corridor, past the sitting room, past the library. And then he saw her. Neema was standing in the long marble corridor, one earbud in, completely unaware she was being watched. She had finished mopping the floor, and now she was dancing. Not wild, not dramatic, just swaying, moving her hips to a rhythm only she could hear. Her eyes were closed. Her hands floated beside her, like she was holding on to something invisible and precious. She looked free. Tae-jun froze. He had walked through this corridor 1,000 times and never once felt anything. It was just a hallway, just space between rooms. But watching her move through it like that, like the whole world was hers, made it look completely different. He did not mean to keep watching. He should have turned around, should have cleared his throat or walked away, but he could not move. Neema spun, her cleaning uniform swirling around her legs, and that is when she saw him. Her eyes went wide. She ripped the earbud out of her ear. Her hands flew up like she had been caught stealing. "Sir, I am so sorry. I thought everyone was... I did not mean to. I was just..." She was rambling in a mix of English and Korean, bowing so many times she looked like a broken toy. Tae-jun should have said something cold, something that would remind her this was his house and she was staff. That is what the old him would have done. But instead, something strange happened. His mouth moved. The corners lifted. He smiled. It was small, barely there, but it was real. Neema stopped mid-bow, staring at him like he had just grown a second head. Tae-jun felt the smile on his face and immediately wiped it away. He straightened, cleared his throat. "Next time, use both earbuds," he said, his voice flat again. "You will hear me coming." Then he turned and walked away, leaving Neema standing alone in the corridor, completely confused. What just happened? Upstairs, Tae-jun closed his bedroom door and leaned against it. His heart was beating faster than it should. He touched his face where the smile had been, like checking for evidence of a crime. Why did he smile? He had not smiled in years. Not since the engagement fell apart. Not since he realized that everyone in his life wanted something from him. Money, status, connections. Nobody just wanted him. So he stopped trying, stopped feeling, stopped smiling. But tonight, for just a second, he forgot. And he hated that he did not actually hate it. If you are already hooked and want to see where this love story goes, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss what happens next. Trust me, this is just the beginning, and things are about to get very interesting. The next morning, the entire household was buzzing. Mrs. Park had seen Tae-jun walk past her the night before, and she absolutely swore that he looked different. Lighter, maybe. The cook said that was impossible. The gardener said Mrs. Park was getting old and seeing things. But then the driver mentioned something strange, too. The chairman hummed in the car this morning. Everyone stopped working. Hummed? Mrs. Park repeated. Just for a second, like he did not even realize he was doing it. The staff exchanged looks. In 7 years, Kang Tae-jun had never hummed, never whistled, never tapped his fingers to a rhythm. He barely spoke unless he had to. Something happened, Mrs. Park said quietly. Maybe he met someone, the cook suggested. Or maybe he is finally losing his mind, the gardener muttered. Neema kept her head down and said nothing. She had not told anyone about last night, about the dancing, about the smile, mostly because she was not sure it actually happened. Maybe she imagined it. Maybe the long hours were getting to her. But then she walked past the corridor where it happened, and her stomach flipped. No, it was real. And now she had no idea what to do about it. She decided the safest option was to avoid him completely. Stay in the kitchen when he was home, clean the other side of the house, keep her head down and pretend she was invisible. That lasted exactly 2 days. On the 3rd day, Tae-jun came home in the middle of the afternoon. He never did that. He was supposed to be at the office until late. The entire staff panicked, running around trying to look busy. Neema was in the library, dusting the shelves. She did not hear him come in. Do you actually read these, or do you just clean them? She jumped so hard she almost knocked over a vase. Tae-jun was standing in the doorway, hands in his pockets, watching her with that unreadable expression. Some of them, sir, when I have time. Which ones? Neema blinked. Was he actually asking her about books? Was this a test? I liked the poetry section, and there is a book about African history that I read twice. You read it twice? It had some things wrong, but it was still interesting. Tae-jun tilted his head slightly. What did it get wrong? And just like that, Neema found herself explaining the difference between regions in Africa, how the book lumped everything together like it was one country instead of 54. She got so caught up in talking that she forgot to be nervous. Tae-jun listened. Actually listened. He asked questions. Good questions. The kind that made her think he actually cared about the answers. 20 minutes passed. Neema only realized how long they had been talking when Mrs. Park appeared in the doorway, looking like she had seen a ghost. Sir, your mother is on the phone. The warmth drained out of Tae-jun's face immediately. He went stiff again, cold again. Tell her I will call her back. She says it is urgent. Tae-jun's jaw tightened. He glanced at Neema one more time, then left without another word. Neema stood there holding a dust cloth, her heart beating way too fast. Mrs. Park walked over slowly. Neema, dear, can I ask you something? Yes, ma'am. What exactly is happening between you and the chairman? Nothing. I swear. He just asked me about books. Mrs. Park looked worried. He has never asked anyone about books before. He has never asked anyone about anything before. I do not understand what you are saying. I am saying be careful. Men like him, they do not live in the same world as us, and when they notice you, it is not always a good thing. Neema felt something cold settle in her chest. I have not done anything wrong. I know. I am not saying you did. I am just saying, be careful. Mrs. Park left, and Neema was alone again. She looked down at the book in her hand, the one about African history, the one she told him she read twice. Why did talking to him feel so easy, and why did that scare her so much? Upstairs, Tae-jun was on the phone with his mother, barely listening. She was talking about some dinner party, some woman she wanted him to meet, some family with a good name and good connections. Are you even listening to me? His mother asked. Yes. Then what did I just say? Tae-jun had no idea. His mind was still in the library, still replaying the way Neema's face lit up when she talked about home. The way she laughed when she said the book got things wrong. I have to go, he said. Tae-jun, this is important. I know. I will call you later. He hung up before she could argue. Then he sat on the edge of his bed and stared at nothing. What was he doing? Why did he keep looking for reasons to talk to her? She was staff. She worked for him. There was a line, and he was dangerously close to crossing it. But when was the last time a conversation did not feel like a business transaction? When was the last time someone was not trying to impress him or use him? Neema did not even seem to like him that much. She was polite, sure, but she did not flatter him, did not laugh at things that were not funny, did not stare at him like he was some prize to win. She treated him like he was normal, and he could not remember the last time anyone did that. Over the next 2 weeks, something shifted in the house. Tae-jun started coming home earlier. At first, the staff thought maybe he was sick. Then they thought maybe the company was in trouble, but he seemed fine. He just wanted to be home. He started eating dinner at the house instead of going out. That had not happened in years. The cook nearly fainted the first time he asked for a meal. And stranger still, he started asking Neema to prepare specific things. The food you made last week, the stew, can you make that again? Neema stared at him. You want me to cook? Is that a problem? No, sir. I did not know you liked that kind of food. I do now. So Neema cooked, Tanzanian food mixed with Korean ingredients. She had no idea if he would actually like it, but she did her best. That night, Tae-jun ate every bite. The staff watched in shock. He never finishes his meals, the cook whispered. He is finishing that one, Mrs. Park whispered back. After dinner, Tae-jun did something even stranger. He went to the kitchen. Neema was washing dishes when he appeared. She nearly dropped a plate. "Sir, do you need something?" The food was good. "Oh, thank you." Silence. Neema kept washing dishes, her hands shaking slightly. Why was he just standing there? "Where did you learn to cook like that?" he finally asked. "My mother, and my grandmother, and every auntie in my neighborhood who thought I was doing it wrong." Tae-jun's mouth twitched, almost like he wanted to smile but was stopping himself. "Do you miss it? Home?" Neema paused. That was a more personal question than she expected. "Every day," she said honestly. "But I am here for a reason. My family needs me to be here." "Do they know how hard you work?" "They know I send money. That is what matters." "Is it?" Neema looked at him, really looked at him. There was something in his voice, something that sounded almost like loneliness. "Yes," she said softly, "because love is not just a feeling, it is what you do." Tae-jun stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded once and left. Neema stood in the kitchen, her heart pounding. What was happening? That night, Tae-jun could not sleep. He kept thinking about what she said. Love is not just a feeling, it is what you do. When was the last time someone in his family did something for him that was not about image or business? When was the last time he did something that mattered? He got out of bed and walked through the house. His feet carried him to the corridor without thinking. The same corridor where he first saw her dance. It was empty now, quiet, but he could still picture her there, smiling, free. He wanted to feel that, just once. He wanted to remember what it was like to be happy about something small and simple. But he had no idea how. The next day, Neema was cleaning the sitting room when she overheard two of the other housekeepers talking. "Did you see the way he looks at her?" "Who?" "The chairman. He looks at Neema." Neema's stomach dropped. She pressed herself against the wall, listening. "You are imagining things." "I am not. He has never paid attention to any of us before. But her? He asks her questions. He requests her cooking. He finds reasons to be in the same room. So what? Maybe he is just curious. Or maybe he is interested. Do not be ridiculous. Men like him do not fall for women like us. Maybe, but if he did, it would not end well for her." Neema felt sick. She left the room quietly and went straight to her small bedroom. It was barely big enough for a bed and a chair, but it was hers. She closed the door and sat down hard. This was bad. People were noticing. People were talking. And if they were talking, eventually his mother would hear. Eventually, someone would decide Neema was a problem. She could not afford to lose this job. Her family was counting on her. So she made a decision. No more conversations. No more cooking special meals. No more letting her guard down. She would be polite, professional, invisible. Starting now. But Tae-jun noticed immediately. The next time he came home, Neema was nowhere to be found. He asked Mrs. Park where she was. "Cleaning the guest rooms, sir. Tell her I would like dinner." "Of course. I will have the cook prepare something." "I want Neema to prepare it." Mrs. Park hesitated. "Sir, perhaps it is better to let the cook handle meals from now on. Neema has many other responsibilities." Tae-jun's eyes narrowed. "Did something happen?" "No, sir. I just think it is better this way." He did not push, but he knew something was wrong. At dinner, the food was fine, perfectly fine, but it was not the same. He barely touched it. Afterward, he went looking for her. He found Neema in the hallway, carrying fresh towels. When she saw him, she immediately bowed. "Good evening, sir." Her voice was different, flat, formal. "Are you avoiding me?" "No, sir. I have been very busy." "Too busy to cook?" "The cook is better at it than I am." "That is not true." Neema kept her eyes down. "Is there something you need, sir?" The word "sir" felt like a wall between them. He hated it. "Did someone say something to you?" Her hands tightened on the towels. "No. You are lying." "I am just doing my job." "This is not about your job." Neema finally looked up, and there was something fierce in her eyes. "Yes, it is. This is exactly about my job. You are my employer. I work for you. That is all. Tae-jun felt like he had been slapped. She was right. Of course she was right. But it still hurt. Understood, he said coldly. You can go. Neema bowed again and walked away, her heart breaking with every step. She did not let herself cry until she was back in her room. This was the right thing to do, the smart thing. So why did it feel so terrible? Meanwhile, Tae-jun stood alone in the hallway, his hands in fists. He had done it again. Let himself hope for something real. Let himself think maybe, just maybe, someone could see him as more than a wallet or a title. But she was right to pull away. He was her employer. She depended on him for her income, for her visa, for everything. How could anything between them ever be equal? He went back to his room and did not come out for the rest of the night. And for the first time in weeks, the smile was completely gone. The house fell back into its old rhythm. Cold. Quiet. Like someone had hit a reset button and erased the last month completely. Tae-jun stopped coming home early. Stopped eating at the house. Stopped asking questions. He moved through the mansion like a shadow again, and the staff did not know whether to be relieved or sad. Mrs. Park was sad. She had seen something change in him, something good, and now it was gone. Neema pretended she was relieved. She told herself this was better, safer. She threw herself into work, cleaning things that were already clean, organizing things that did not need organizing. At night, she would video call her sister and lie about how well everything was going. You sound tired, her sister said one evening. I am fine, just working hard. Are you eating enough? Yes, Mama, Neema teased, trying to sound light. Her sister was not fooled. Something is wrong. I can hear it in your voice. Neema looked around her tiny room, at the colorful fabrics she had hung on the walls to make it feel like home, at the photo of her family she kept beside her bed. I just miss you, she said, which was not a lie. Then come home for a visit. I cannot afford it yet. We can wait for the money, Neema. We cannot wait forever to see you. After the call ended, Neema sat in silence. Her sister was right. She had been in Seoul for almost a year, and she had not gone home once. She kept telling herself it was about the money, about responsibility. But maybe she was also hiding. Maybe she did not want to go home and admit that she was lonely. 3 days later, Tae-jun's mother came to visit. The staff went into panic mode. Madam Kang did not visit often, but when she did, everything had to be perfect. She noticed dust that did not exist. She commented on flowers that were arranged wrong. She made everyone nervous just by existing. Neema had only met her twice before, both times very briefly. The woman was elegant and cold, like a statue made of ice. This time, Madam Kang arrived in the afternoon and immediately asked for tea in the sitting room. Mrs. Park prepared everything perfectly and brought it in herself. Neema was cleaning the hallway nearby when she heard Madam Kang's voice. Where is Tae-jun? At the office, madam. He will be home late tonight. He is always at the office lately, more than usual. Mrs. Park said nothing. Has something happened here? No, madam. Everything is fine. Is it? There was a pause. Neema stayed very still, her hands frozen on the cloth she was holding. I heard an interesting rumor, Madam Kang continued. That my son has been coming home early, eating here, talking to staff. Does that sound accurate? He did, madam, for a short time, but things have returned to normal now. Why? I do not know, madam. Another pause, longer this time. Send me the Tanzanian girl. Neema's blood went cold. Mrs. Park found her 2 minutes later, looking pale. She wants to see you. Why? I do not know. But Neema, be very careful what you say. Neema's hands were shaking as she walked into the sitting room. Madam Kang was sitting perfectly straight, holding a teacup like it was a weapon. You wanted to see me, madam? Sit down. Neema hesitated. Staff did not sit in front of family members. But this was not a request. She sat on the very edge of the chair, her back straight, her hands folded. Madam Kang studied her for a long moment. How long have you worked here? Almost 1 year, madam. And you like the work? Yes, madam. My son has been different lately. Do you know anything about that? Neema's heart pounded. I do not think so, madam. You do not think so, or you do not know. I just clean and cook, madam. I do not know about the chairman's personal life. Madam Kang set down her teacup with a soft click. Let me be direct. I have been told that my son has taken an interest in you. Neema felt her face flush. I have done nothing inappropriate, madam. I swear. I am not accusing you of anything, but I need you to understand something. She leaned forward slightly. My son is not like other people. He has responsibilities, expectations. He cannot simply do whatever he wants. I understand, madam. Do you? Because from where I am sitting, I see a young woman who has gotten the attention of a very wealthy man, and I need to know if you understand what that means. Neema felt anger flash through her, but she pushed it down. I understand that I work for him. That is all. Good. Keep it that way. Madam Kang picked up her tea again, dismissing Neema without another word. Neema stood and bowed and walked out of the room with her head high, but the moment she was out of sight, her hands started shaking again. She had done nothing wrong, nothing, but she was still the one being warned, still the one being told to know her place. Mrs. Park found her in the kitchen 10 minutes later, scrubbing a counter that was already clean. Are you all right? Fine. Neema. I said I am fine. But she was not fine. She was angry and hurt, and tired of feeling like she had to apologize for existing. That evening, Madam Kang was still at the house when Tae-jun came home. He saw his mother's car in the driveway and almost turned around. But he went inside anyway. She was waiting for him in his office. Mother, I did not know you were coming. Clearly, you would have avoided me if you did. Tae-jun sighed and set down his briefcase. What do you want? I want to talk about your behavior. My behavior is fine. Is it? Because I have heard some concerning things. I am sure you have. You always do. Madam Kang stood up, her expression sharp. Do not be flippant with me. I am your mother, and I am trying to protect you. From what? From making a mistake. Tae-jun went very still. What mistake? The housekeeper, the Tanzanian girl. His jaw tightened. Her name is Neema. I do not care what her name is. I care that you have been spending time with her, talking to her, eating food she prepares. Do you have any idea how that looks? I do not care how it looks. Well, you should. You are not just anyone, Tae-jun. You are the head of this family. Every choice you make reflects on all of us. I had a few conversations with her, that is all. Why? Why? The question hung in the air. Tae-jun did not answer. That is what I thought, his mother said quietly. You do not even know why, which means you are acting on impulse, not logic. Maybe I am tired of logic. Logic is what has kept this family strong for 3 generations. Logic is what made me miserable. Madam Kang flinched, just slightly, but enough that Tae-jun noticed. You are not miserable, she said, but her voice was softer now. How would you know? When is the last time you asked me how I actually feel about anything? I ask you all the time. No, you tell me what I should feel, what I should want, who I should marry. You have been doing it my whole life. Because I am trying to help you. Are you, or are you trying to control me? The words came out harsher than he meant, but he did not take them back. Madam Kang looked at him for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was careful. I spoke to the girl today. Tae-jun's hands curled into fists. You what? I needed to make sure she understood her position. Her position? She has done nothing wrong. I know. That is why I was kind. I simply reminded her that there are boundaries. You had no right. I had every right. I am protecting her as much as I am protecting you. She does not need your protection. Doesn't she? Tae-jun, think about this clearly. She works for you. She depends on you for her income, her visa, her home. If you pursue this, how is that fair to her? How does she say no to you even if she wants to? That stopped him. because he had thought the exact same thing. His mother saw the hesitation and pressed forward. "You are not a cruel man, I know that. But sometimes kindness and power do not mix well. If you truly care about this girl, you need to think about what is best for her, not just what you want." Tae-jun said nothing. Madam Kang picked up her purse. "I am not telling you what to do. I am asking you to think, really think, about what happens next." She left. Tae-jun stood alone in his office, his mother's words echoing in his head. She was right. He hated that she was right. But what was he supposed to do? Stop feeling things? Pretend the last month did not happen? He walked through the house, restless and angry. His feet carried him to the corridor again. The place where everything started. It was empty, silent, just like it used to be. And he realized something. He did not just miss Neema. He missed the person he was becoming when she was around. Someone who laughed, someone who asked questions, someone who actually wanted to come home. But his mother was right about one thing. As long as Neema worked for him, nothing between them could ever be equal. So he had to change that. The next morning, Tae-jun called Mrs. Park into his office. "I need you to do something for me." "Of course, sir. Neema mentioned she has not been home in a long time. I want you to arrange a plane ticket for her. Round trip to Tanzania, 2 weeks." Mrs. Park blinked in surprise. "Sir, she has not requested time off." "I know, but she needs it. Make sure she knows the ticket is already paid for. She does not have to worry about the cost. She will ask questions. Tell her it is a bonus, for good work." Mrs. Park hesitated. "Sir, may I speak freely? When have you ever asked permission?" She smiled slightly at that. "The staff is worried about you and Neema. There is no me and Neema, but you want there to be." Tae-jun looked at her sharply, but Mrs. Park did not back down. "I have worked for you for 7 years, she continued. "I have never seen you care about anyone the way you care about her. But sir, she is terrified." "Of me? Of what people will think? Of losing her job? Of being seen as someone who is using you? She would never use me. I know that. You know that. But does she know that you know that?" Tae-jun rubbed his face. "This is complicated. Love usually is." He looked up. "I never said anything about love." Mrs. Park just smiled. "You did not have to." She left to arrange the ticket. Tae-jun sat alone, his head in his hands. Was this love? He barely knew her. They had only talked a handful of times. But every conversation felt more real than years of interactions with other people. Maybe that was what love was. Not time, not logic. Just the feeling that someone saw you, really saw you, and did not look away. 2 days later, Mrs. Park gave Neema the news. "You are going home." Neema looked up from folding laundry. "What?" "The chairman has arranged a ticket for you. 2 weeks in Tanzania. You leave in 3 days." Neema's mouth fell open. "I do not understand. I did not ask for time off." "He says it is a bonus, for good work. But Neema, do not argue. Just go. See your family. Rest." Neema's eyes filled with tears. She had been trying so hard not to think about home, because missing it hurt too much. And now, suddenly, she could go? "Why would he do this?" she whispered. Mrs. Park's expression softened. Maybe because he is not as cold as everyone thinks. That night, Neema could not sleep. She kept thinking about the ticket, about going home, about seeing her mother and her siblings and eating food that tasted right and hearing Swahili everywhere. But she also kept thinking about him. Why would Tae-jun do this? After weeks of silence, after everything went back to normal, why now? She did not have an answer. The next day, she decided to thank him. It was the right thing to do. She waited until evening, when he usually came home. She practiced what she would say, something simple and professional. But when Tae-jun walked through the door, he looked exhausted. There were shadows under his eyes. His tie was loose. He looked like he had not slept well in days. Neema almost lost her nerve. But then he saw her standing there, and he stopped. "Did you need something?" he asked, his voice carefully neutral. "I wanted to thank you, sir, for the ticket. It is just a bonus. It is more than that. Silence stretched between them. You work hard, Tae-jun said finally. You deserve time with your family. Why are you really doing this? The question came out before Neema could stop it. Tae-jun's expression did not change. I just told you. No. You are giving me a reason, but it is not the real reason. He stared at her. What do you want me to say? The truth. The truth is complicated. I am not stupid. I can handle complicated. Tae-jun took a step closer, then stopped himself. You said we are just employer and employee. You were right, so I am acting like your employer, making sure my staff is taken care of. That is not what this is. Then what is it? Neema's voice dropped. I think you are trying to fix something. Maybe I am. Is that so wrong? That depends on what you are trying to fix. They were standing too close now. Close enough that Neema could see the exhaustion in his eyes. Close enough that Tae-jun could see the confusion in hers. Go home, Neema, he said quietly. See your family. Decide what you really want. What if I do not know what I want? Then figure it out, because I cannot do this anymore. Do what? Pretend that I do not notice you. Pretend that you did not change everything. Neema's breath caught. Tae-jun stepped back, putting distance between them again. The ticket is yours whether you come back or not. No strings, no expectations. Just go. He walked away before she could respond. Neema stood frozen in the hallway, her heart racing. What just happened? By the way, if you are feeling all the tension right now and you need to know what happens next, go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments if you think Neema should stay or go. And do not go anywhere, because this story is about to get even more emotional. 3 days later, Neema was at the airport. Mrs. Park had helped her pack. The other staff had said goodbye. Everything felt surreal, like she was moving through a dream. She kept expecting someone to stop her, to say there was a mistake, but nobody did. The flight was long. Neema slept most of the way, exhausted from weeks of barely sleeping. When she landed in Dar es Salaam, the heat hit her like a wall. The smell of the air, the sound of people speaking Swahili, the chaos of the airport. It all felt like coming back to life. Her sister was waiting for her outside. The moment Neema saw her, she started crying. They hugged for a long time, right there in the middle of the crowd, and Neema felt something in her chest unclench. Look at you, her sister said, pulling back to study her face. You look so tired. I am fine. You always say that. Come on, everyone is waiting. Home was exactly how Neema remembered it. Loud, chaotic, full of people and food and laughter. Her mother cried when she saw her. Her younger brother had grown 5 centimeters. The neighbors came over to welcome her back. For the first few days, Neema just let herself soak it all in. She ate her mother's cooking. She danced at a cousin's wedding. She sat on the porch and listened to the sounds of the neighborhood. But at night, when everything was quiet, she thought about Seoul, about the cold mansion, about Mrs. Park's kindness, about the corridor, about him. Her sister noticed, of course. You are thinking about something, she said one evening. They were sitting outside, watching the sunset. Just work. Liar, you have been somewhere else this whole time. Neema sighed. Can I ask you something? Always. How do you know if something is real, or if you are just lonely? Her sister raised an eyebrow. This is about a man. Maybe? Definitely. Tell me. So Neema told her. Not everything, but enough. About Tae-jun. About the dancing. About the conversations. About how confused everything had become. Her sister listened quietly. When Neema finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Do you have feelings for him? She asked finally. I do not know. Maybe. But it does not matter. Why not? Because he is my employer. Because we live in different worlds. Because even if he has feelings for me, which I am not sure he does, it could never work. That is a lot of reasons. They are good reasons. Are they? Or are you just scared? Neema looked at her sister. Of course I am scared. What if I am wrong? What if I lose my job? What if I am just something interesting to him, and then he gets bored? What if you are not wrong? That is scarier. Her sister laughed. Love is always scary, Neema. That is how you know it is real. I never said anything about love. You did not have to. Neema groaned. You sound like Mrs. Park. Then maybe we are both right. The 2 weeks went by too fast. Neema tried to hold on to every moment, knowing she would need the memories to get through the next year. On her last night, her mother pulled her aside. Are you happy in Seoul? She asked. Neema wanted to lie, wanted to say yes. Everything is perfect. Do not worry about me. But this was her mother. Sometimes, she said honestly, the work is good, the people are kind, but it is lonely. Then why go back? Because you need the money. Her mother's face softened. We need you more than we need money. Mama, do not say that. I mean it. Yes, things are hard, but we will survive. We always do. You do not have to carry all of this alone. Neema felt tears prick her eyes. I want to help. You are helping. But Neema, my sweet girl, do not forget to build a life for yourself too. Not just for us. That night, Neema lay in her childhood bed and stared at the ceiling. Her mother was right. She had been so focused on taking care of everyone else that she forgot to think about what she actually wanted. And the truth, the scary truth, was that she did not want to go back to Seoul and pretend Tae-jun did not exist. She did not want to clean his house and avoid his eyes and act like those conversations meant nothing. Because they meant something to her. Maybe they always had. The flight back to Seoul felt different. Neema was not running away this time. She was going back with a decision. She did not know what would happen. Did not know if Tae-jun felt the same way. Did not know if anything could actually work between them. But she was tired of being afraid. When she landed, Mrs. Park picked her up from the airport. Welcome back. Did you have a good trip? The best. You look different. I feel different. Mrs. Park smiled. Good. Because things have been very gloomy here without you. Has he been okay? Mrs. Park did not have to ask who she meant. No, he has been terrible. He does not eat. He does not sleep. He just works, and then comes home and stares at nothing. Neema's chest tightened. Where is he now? At the office. He is always at the office now. Neema made a decision. Can you take me there instead of the house? Mrs. Park's eyes widened. Are you sure? No, but I am doing it anyway. Mrs. Park grinned. About time. The building was enormous. Glass and steel reaching into the sky like it was trying to touch the clouds. Neema had never been here before. She stood outside for a full minute, gathering her courage. Then she walked in. The lobby was all marble and expensive art. People in perfect suits rushed past her without a glance. She felt completely out of place in her simple dress and worn jacket. A security guard stopped her immediately. Can I help you? I am here to see Kang Tae-jun. The guard looked her up and down. Do you have an appointment? No, but then you cannot go up. Please, it is important. Everyone says that. You need an appointment. Neema was about to argue when a voice called out. Neema? She turned. Tae-jun's assistant, the one she had seen a few times at the house, was standing near the elevators looking shocked. What are you doing here? I need to see him. Just for a minute. The assistant glanced at the security guard, then back at Neema. Something in her face must have convinced him because he nodded. Follow me. They rode the elevator in silence. Neema's heart was beating so hard she was sure everyone could hear it. The assistant led her down a hallway and stopped outside a large office door. He is in a meeting, but it should end soon. You can wait here. Thank you. The assistant hesitated. Whatever you are here to say it. He has been impossible to work with lately. Then he left. Neema sat in a chair outside the office and tried to breathe. What was she doing? What was she going to say? This was crazy. She should leave. The door opened. 3 men in suits walked out, talking in low voices. They did not even glance at her. And then Tae-jun appeared in the doorway. He froze when he saw her. For a long moment, neither of them moved. They just stared at each other, like they were both checking to make sure the other was real. Neema, he finally said, His voice sounded rough, like he had not used it properly in days. "Can we talk?" He nodded and stepped back, letting her into his office. It was huge, windows overlooking the entire city, a desk that could fit 6 people, everything cold and perfect and empty. Tae-jun closed the door. "When did you get back?" "An hour ago." "You should be resting. Why are you here?" Neema turned to face him. "Because I needed to see you." Something flickered in his eyes. Hope, maybe. Or fear. "Did something happen?" "Is everything okay?" "No, nothing is okay." He moved closer. "What is wrong?" "You," Neema said. "You are what is wrong." Tae-jun stopped walking. "I do not understand." "I went home. I saw my family. I ate good food and danced and remembered what it felt like to be happy. And the whole time I kept thinking about you." His expression shifted. Careful now. Guarded. "Neema, let me finish, please." He nodded. Neema took a breath. "I have been so scared. Scared of losing my job. Scared of what people would think. Scared that maybe I was just interesting to you because I was different. But mostly, I was scared that if I admitted how I felt, everything would fall apart." "How do you feel?" The question was quiet, almost a whisper. Neema looked right at him. "Like I cannot stop thinking about you. Like every conversation we had mattered more than it should. Like when you smiled that first time, something in me woke up." Tae-jun's hands were shaking. She could see them, even though he was trying to hide it. "You were right to pull away," he said. "I am your employer. There is a power imbalance. Nothing about this is fair to you." "I know." "Then why are you here?" "Because I do not want fair anymore. I want real." "Neema, you do not understand what you are saying. Stop telling me what I understand. I am not a child. I know exactly what I am risking by being here." "And what about what I am risking?" She blinked. "What?" Tae-jun ran a hand through his hair, and for the first time, he looked lost. "Do you know how many people want something from me? Money, connections, status. Everyone has an angle. Everyone wants to use me for something. And then you showed up, and you did not want anything. You just danced in my hallway and talked about books and made food that tasted like someone actually cared." His voice cracked on the last word. "I have not felt like a real person in years, and then you made me feel human again. So yes, there is a power imbalance, but you have no idea how much power you actually have." Neema felt tears building. "Then what do we do?" "I do not know." "That is not good enough." "What do you want me to say?" "That you feel the same way I do." Tae-jun closed the distance between them in 2 steps. He was standing so close now that Neema had to tilt her head back to look at him. "I feel the same way," he said. "I have felt the same way since the first moment I saw you dance. But Neema, I cannot be selfish about this. As long as you work for me, as long as you depend on me, how can you ever truly choose me? So what are you saying?" "I am saying I need to let you go." Neema's heart dropped. "You are firing me?" "No, I am setting you free." He walked to his desk and pulled out a folder, handed it to her. Neema opened it with shaking hands. Inside were documents, apartment listings, information about a small business grant, resources for starting a cultural consulting business. "What is this?" "A choice," Tae-jun said. "I have already arranged an apartment for you if you want it. Paid for the next 6 months. There is also information about grants for immigrants starting small businesses. You mentioned once that you loved sharing your culture. This could be a start." "I do not understand." "I am giving you independence. So that if you choose to be with me, it is a real choice. Not because you need the job, not because you are afraid, but because you actually want to." Neema stared at the papers, then at him. "And if I do not choose you?" Pain flashed across his face. "Then at least you will have a life that is yours." "You would do that? Give me all of this even if I walk away?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because maybe that is what love is. Wanting someone to be happy even if it is not with you." Neema dropped the folder, papers scattered everywhere. And then she kissed him. It was not planned, not smooth. She just grabbed his shirt and pulled him down and pressed her lips to his. Tae-jun went completely still for half a second. Then he kissed her back. His hands came up to cup her face, gentle and careful, like she was something precious. The kiss was soft and desperate, and full of everything they had been holding back for months. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were breathing hard. "I choose you," Neema whispered. "I choose you right now, but I am also taking the apartment and starting the business." Tae-jun laughed. Actually laughed. "Of course you are. I am not going to be someone who needs you. I am going to be someone who wants you. There is a difference." "I know." "Good." They stood there, foreheads touching, both of them smiling like idiots. "My mother is going to lose her mind," Tae-jun said. "Your mother already hates me." "She does not hate you. She is just protective. She told me to know my place." "And what is your place?" Neema grinned. "Right here. Annoying you, making you smile, teaching you terrible dance moves. I am a terrible dancer." "I know. We will work on that." Tae-jun kissed her again, slower this time, sweeter. When they finally left his office, his assistant took one look at their faces and grinned. About time. The next few weeks were chaos. Neema moved into her own apartment. It was small but bright, and it was hers. She decorated it with fabrics from home and photos of her family. She started researching how to start a business in Seoul. Tae-jun helped when she asked, but he did not take over. He listened to her ideas, gave advice when she wanted it, let her make her own mistakes. And slowly, carefully, they built something real. They went on actual dates. Coffee shops, where nobody knew who he was. Small restaurants in neighborhoods far from his usual circles. A movie where they sat in the back row and he held her hand the whole time. Neema met his mother again. It went exactly as badly as expected. Madame Kang was polite but cold. She asked pointed questions about Neema's plans, made comments about cultural differences, suggested that perhaps this was all moving too fast. Tae-jun sat there the whole time looking miserable. But at the end of the dinner, something unexpected happened. Madame Kang looked at her son and said, "You are different with her." "Yes." "You smile more." "Yes." She turned to Neema. "I do not understand this, but I can see that my son cares about you, so I will try." It was not approval, but it was not rejection either. Neema would take it. 3 months later, Neema hosted her first official cultural event. It was small, a rented space in Itaewon, Tanzanian music playing through borrowed speakers, food she had cooked herself, with help from 2 other East African women she had met in Seoul. She was terrified nobody would come. But people did come. Curious Koreans who wanted to try new food, African immigrants who were hungry for a taste of home, students studying abroad, families. The room filled up. And when the music started, people began to dance. Neema stood in the corner, watching it all happen, and felt something huge swell in her chest. Pride, joy, accomplishment. This was hers. She built this. "You did it." She turned. Tae-jun was standing beside her, smiling that smile that still made her heart skip. "You came." "Of course I came." "You hate crowds." "I do, but I love you." It was the first time he had said it out loud. Neema felt tears prick her eyes. "You cannot just say that here, in the middle of everything." "Why not?" "Because I will cry, and I am wearing makeup." Tae-jun laughed and pulled her close. "Then cry. I will still think you are beautiful." "You are impossible. And you love me anyway." "I do." They stood there together, watching people dance and eat and laugh, watching cultures mix and blend and create something new. "Dance with me," Neema said suddenly. Tae-jun looked panicked. "Here? In front of everyone? You said you love me. Prove it." "That is not fair. Life is not fair." She grabbed his hand and pulled him into the crowd before he could argue. The music was fast and joyful. Neema started moving, her hips swaying, her arms loose. Tae-jun stood there like a wooden board. "You are terrible at this," she shouted over the music. "I know. Just feel the music." "Stop thinking so much." "I do not know how." Neema took both his hands. Then follow me. She guided him through simple steps. He was stiff and awkward and completely off rhythm. People around them started noticing. Some smiled, some laughed. But Tae-jun did not care, because Neema was laughing too. Happy, free, looking at him like he was the only person in the room. And for the first time in his life, Tae-jun did not care what anyone thought. He just danced. Badly, terribly, but he danced. And he smiled the whole time. After the event ended, they walked back to Neema's apartment together. The streets were quiet. The air was cool. "Thank you for coming tonight," Neema said. "Thank you for inviting me. I was scared you would not show up." "Why?" "Because your world and my world are very different. I thought maybe you would feel out of place." Tae-jun stopped walking. He turned to face her. "Neema, listen to me. My world is cold and empty and full of people who do not actually care about me. Your world is warm and loud and real. I will always choose your world. Even when I make you dance in public? Especially then." She kissed him. Right there on the street corner. And this time, she did not care who saw. "Before we get to the ending, I need to know something. Are you Team Neema or Team Tae-jun? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you have been loving this story, do not forget to subscribe so you never miss another one. Now let me tell you how this beautiful story ends. 6 months passed. Neema's business grew. She hosted events twice a month now. She had partnered with other African entrepreneurs. She was even interviewed by a local magazine about cultural exchange. She was building a life, a real life, one that was completely her own. Tae-jun was still the same serious, quiet man on the outside, but the people closest to him noticed changes. He laughed more. He took time off work. He actually seemed to enjoy his life. His mother still had reservations, but she saw how happy her son was, and slowly, very slowly, she began to soften. One evening, Neema was setting up for another event when her phone rang. It was her sister. "Guess what?" "What?" "I graduated, top of my class," Neema screamed, right there in the middle of the venue. "Are you serious?" "Yes. And it is because of you, because you worked so hard, so I could finish school." Tears ran down Neema's face. "I am so proud of you." "I am proud of you too. Mama showed me the article about your business. You are doing amazing things, sister." After the call ended, Neema sat down and cried. Happy tears, relieved tears, tears that came from knowing that all the sacrifice had been worth it. Tae-jun found her like that 20 minutes later. "What happened? Are you okay?" She told him about her sister, about the graduation, about how everything she had worked for was finally paying off. Tae-jun sat beside her and just held her while she cried. "You did this," he said quietly. "You changed your family's entire future. We did it together. No, this was you. I just helped a little." Neema pulled back to look at him. "You helped a lot. I would not have this business without you. You would have found another way. You are the strongest person I know. I do not feel strong. That is because you are too close to see it. But I see it. Every single day. That night's event was the biggest yet. The venue was packed. Music filled every corner. People were dancing and eating and celebrating. Neema moved through the crowd, greeting people, checking on the food, making sure everything was perfect. And then she saw someone new standing near the entrance. Mrs. Park. Neema rushed over. "What are you doing here? I wanted to see what you built. And Neema, it is wonderful. Thank you. That means so much." Mrs. Park looked around at everything, at the joy and the music and the life. "Do you remember what I told you when you first started working at the house?" she asked. "You told me a lot of things. I told you to be careful, to know your place. I was wrong. You were trying to protect me." "Maybe, but I should have trusted you more. You knew exactly what you were doing." Neema hugged her. "I miss you. I miss you too. But this is where you belong. Not cleaning someone else's house. Building your own dreams." Later that night, after most people had left, Neema found Tae-jun helping clean up. "You do not have to do that. I know, but you look tired. I am exhausted, but the good kind of exhausted. He smiled. I have something for you. Tae-jun, you have already given me so much. This is different. He pulled a small box out of his pocket. Neema's heart stopped. What is that? Open it. Inside was a key. She looked at him, confused. It is a key to my house, he said. Not because I want you to work there, not because I want you to move in, unless you want to eventually, but because I want you to know that you always have a place with me, whenever you want it, however you want it. Neema felt tears building again. You are going to make me cry again. Good. I like it when you cry happy tears. She threw her arms around him. I love you. I love you too. Even though I made you dance in public. Especially because of that. They stood there in the empty venue, surrounded by the evidence of everything Neema had built, and both of them knew. This was just the beginning. 1 year later, Neema's business had grown beyond anything she imagined. She now had a permanent space. She employed 3 other people. She was planning events across Seoul. She had gone home to visit her family twice. Tae-jun had come with her the second time. Her mother loved him. Her sister teased him. Her brother challenged him to a soccer match and won. Tae-jun had never been happier. His relationship with his mother had improved too. She still had her opinions, but she had learned to keep most of them to herself. And when she saw Neema and Tae-jun together, really saw them, she could not deny that her son was happy. One evening, Tae-jun came home from work early. Neema was at the house, which happened more often now. She had her own key, her own space, but she still kept her apartment because independence mattered to her. He found her in the corridor. The same corridor where everything began. She was dancing, just like that first night. Earbuds in, eyes closed, completely free. But this time, when she spun around and saw him, she did not stop. She just smiled and held out her hand. Dance with me. I am still terrible at it. I know. Dance with me anyway. So he did. He took her hand and pulled her close, and moved with her in the corridor, where he first learned how to smile again. They were not good dancers. The rhythm was off, their feet tangled, but they were happy, and that was all that mattered. Later, they sat together on the floor of the corridor, backs against the wall, hands intertwined. Do you ever think about that first night? Neema asked. All the time. What do you think about? How one moment changed everything. How I almost walked away. How you did not even know you were saving me. I was not saving you. I was just dancing. Exactly. You were not trying to impress me or change me. You were just being yourself, and that was what I needed. Neema leaned her head on his shoulder. I think you saved me too. How? You gave me the courage to dream bigger, to believe I could be more than just someone's employee. You saw me when I felt invisible. You were never invisible to me. I know. That is why I love you. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Tae-jun said, Marry me. Neema sat up straight. What? Marry me. Not now, not right away. Whenever you are ready. But I know I want to spend the rest of my life making you laugh and dancing badly, and watching you build amazing things. That is the worst proposal I have ever heard. It is the only proposal you have ever heard. Still the worst. Is that a yes? Neema kissed him, long and soft and full of promise. That is a yes, eventually, when I am ready. I can wait. Good, because I am going to make you wait at least a year. Why? Because I want to enjoy this, us, without rushing to the next thing. I want to dance with you and build my business and travel with you and just be happy. I can do that. Also, your mother will probably need time to recover from the shock. Tae-jun groaned. Do not remind me. Neema laughed. That loud, joyful laugh that he loved so much. And Tae-jun smiled. That real, genuine smile that only she could bring out. They stayed in the corridor until late into the night, talking about the future, about dreams, about all the things they wanted to do together. And when they finally stood up to leave, Tae-jun pulled her into one more dance. This time, he was a little less terrible. This time, they both laughed. This time, They knew that whatever came next, they would face it together. In the cold marble corridor of a mansion that used to feel like a prison, two people found freedom. Not because the place changed, but because they changed each other. And sometimes, that is all it takes. One person brave enough to dance, and one person willing to learn. If this story touched your heart, warmed your soul, or made you believe in love again, do me one last favor. Hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next story. Drop a comment telling me what part made your heart flutter the most, and share this with someone who needs to hear a beautiful love story today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, sometimes the most beautiful things happen when we are brave enough to be ourselves. See you in the next story.